Bobby Petrino.
The newly appointed offensive coordinator for Arkansas, right?
Yes. Would you
Yeah.
like to hear a story about? Do you know the history of Bobby Petrino?
He used to coach there before, didn't he?
This is hilarious on multiple levels. We're not gonna go into his days at the Atlanta Falcons and how he left in the middle of the night and left notes in the players' lockers telling him that he is out.
Wait, start that sentence over again.
So Bobby Petrino, before he went to Arkansas the first time, was the head coach of the Falcons. He quit in the middle of the night and left notes in the players' lockers, essentially saying this was cool, but I'm out. So he takes the head coaching job at Arkansas. First year is kind of rough. I believe the second year they go 10-2. He has Ryan Mallett. I think Ryan Mallett was a first round pick. Granted, so here they are. They're 10-2. Shortly thereafter, Bobby Petrino gets into a motorcycle accident, and he refuses medical care. He doesn't want anyone to call 911. He goes so far that he flags someone driving, hitches a ride to a diner down the street, and then he calls one of the police officers that escorts him on the field during game day, right, to take him to the hospital. And you may be wondering, why are you doing all?
He did that shit. Whatever they said he did that
Oh,
shit.
D, this is hilarious. So you may be wondering why go through all of that trouble. You were in a motorcycle accident. It happens. No, 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 no. He was in a motorcycle accident and someone else was there. That someone else happened to be his mistress. It gets better. His mistress was an old volleyball player at Arkansas that he hired to be on his staff as a personal assistant. It gets better.
Bobby Petrino.
Most state jobs, any job that is funded by taxpayer dollars, there's usually some sort of law that says this job has to be posted X amount of days before you can hire someone. At the time of Bobby Petrino's employment at Arkansas, the state of Arkansas law was the job had to be posted for 30 days. Bobby Petrino raised so much hell that he got her hired in 16 days. Now, out of all the people who applied for that job, she was the only person who did not have a master's degree, and she was the only person who did not have experience working in an athletics department, specifically in a football department. It gets better.
So wait a minute. She had no experience in this field in which she was applying. And this was the same position that Bobby Petrino was raising hell that you don't need that much experience to be in.
No, no, no. He was saying this. I can't wait 30 days to hire this person. I need assistance today. So they skirted around the law for Bobby Petrino to hire her as one of his personal assistants. It gets even better than that. For Christmas, Bobby Petrino allegedly gives this girl $20,000 in cash.
I kind of like his pimping.
So before we close this story, Bobby Petrino used state funds to hire his mistress to his staff as a personal assistant, got into a motorcycle accident with her on the back, lied, and then he got a tip that a reporter found out that she was there and got their hands on the police report. Comes clean. If you go Google Bobby Petrino right now, there's an infamous press conference when he is in a neck brace. It is from that accident. And his face is.
I should laugh at that. I should laugh at that.
No,
Bobby,
Google it right now. Google Bobby Petrino.
I ain't gonna laugh at your neck brace. Can I ask you a question? What did Bobby do wrong here?
Dog, you cannot use state funds to hire your mistress.
Oh, well, there's politicians. There was a politician down in Florida getting his freak on with another man that they just outed. So I don't want to hear that.
It gets even better, though. The story's not over. So he is, of course, fired from Arkansas because you can't do that. And the administration act like he lied, even though they probably knew. And now Arkansas wants to hire him back as their offensive coordinator. My question to you is, who is the most famous Arkansas Razorback on the planet?
Darren McFadden?
No. the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry
Jerry
Jones.
Jones.
Now, I'm not saying Jerry has his hand in this, but I'm not saying that Jerry doesn't have his hand in this. Jerry not gonna let a little investment in a little affair get in the way of the former glory days of his alma mater. Shout out to Jerry. It all comes back to Jerry. Jerry is the godfather of football at all levels.
Wait a minute. Did you just tell me this entire story just to bring this back to Jerry Jones?
No, it's just hilarious that Jerry Jones is an Arkansas Razorback.
The real question is, what's wrong with getting in a motorcycle accident with your side piece?
Nothing. It's lying about it and then having the world figure out that you use state funds to give her a
I don't
job
even
that she
think the
didn't
state funds is
deserve.
the bad part. There are politicians out here who are using state funds for prostitutes.
They don't get caught.
Okay. Bobby
They don't get
Petrino, all
caught.
he had to do was not get caught, but he did.
Hugh Freeze got caught texting the hoes on the state phone.
That's what you shouldn't do.
That's what you
Hugh
should
Freeze, Bobby Petrino, y'all really just gotta control your horny.
Control your horny. And with that, welcome to episode 124. Speak on it.
Yeah.
You usually do the intros now because you're a lot better. So I'll try to do you service. And if I don't, you can correct me. I am some random bald guy here on the East Coast. They call me Danny Ocean. And then the bro with the fro, who's the best DJ on the West Coast. Oh, bars.
We trying to get there. We trying to
Los D mix. You sent me that second mix. I started to listen to it. I really love the wrestling promos. It's so funny.
Listen, man, I appreciate it, dog. That was a good one. I was wanted to spend some for the pod. Feeling real creative. It's funny because I recorded that and then I got some food and I recorded like 2 or 3 other mixes like right after. So I'm in a good space, trying to get better, trying to get more gigs. That's what we're working on next. So I played like an impromptu one like a Friday or so ago. I don't know if I told you.
Really? So someone just called you like, "Hey, I need DJ. Can you come through?"
Now I was at my man's house. So this was definitely then last week. So I was at my man's house. He had like a little Friendsgiving.
Okay.
So I just pulled up, and of course he a DJ. So he I just pulled up there with my stuff just because I always believe in better to have it on you than not at all. And then he was like, "Yo, you want to get some practice in tonight?" I said, "Shit, I'm down." So I spent for about an hour, until my computer died, which is my computer died and the charger wasn't working, but it was the charger that I've had since I first got it.
Okay.
So that's when I realized it finally died on me.
So do you have mixes already set up, or do you just go in and just whatever song and just blend it all together?
You just kind of go in there and then you just kind of see what the vibe is, what however you feeling or wherever the wind kind of takes you to start, and then you just kind of read the room and go with the vibes and let the music take you. Follow the music. There are like certain songs that I do want to be like, "Yo, I want to play this. I want to play this," because there's like certain bags or genres you want to try to get into. But for the most part, you just that mix. If you listen to the whole thing, I feel like from start by the time when you start it, when you finish it, you'd be like, "Yo, we went in a lot of different places." But that's where we go. That's what I like to do.
I'm about 20-25 minutes in. I feel like every time at work when I put in my headphones and start listening to the mix.
Wait till you get to about that hour part in. You random little disco, little groove disco set, little house. Listen, you'll see it.
I'm looking forward to it. But
it's out now on SoundCloud for anyone wanting to listen.
Yeah, what's your SoundCloud? What's your SoundCloud at?
Same as the Instagram, the Twitter, the Twitch, and the YouTube. It is at Los D Mix. That's LOSDEEMIX. It is episode 2 of the Mix Upstairs, exclusively for Speak On It podcast. So we try to get that in every so often for the pod. Danny, we're starting off in the NFL, aren't we?
Yeah, we getting cracking in the NFL. It was a special week in the NFL because we had Thanksgiving games. Let's start with your Green Bay Packers in Detroit. Let's start with the positive. Did Green Bay show you anything?
Let me tell you what Green Bay showed me. That bullshit that they was talking about in Detroit with them scaredy cats that they call Lions. I don't want to hear no more of it. And let me tell you something. Jordan Love, he looked like that dude. He looked like Green Bay may have gotten another generational quarterback. That all we need is a few more. I really think, as young as this wide receiver room is, if there was just one solid vet, like, or even maybe not a vet, we need like a Zay Jones type beat. You know what I'm saying? Like a possession receiver, someone who knows the sticks, how to run routes. He will get open. That's what we need. I think we got a lot of good young players, but I think we just need like a good possession, like a Mike Evans type beat. But
Mike Evans is way more than a possession receiver. I was thinking like Christian Kirk.
yeah, but Christian Kirk, he's the possession receiver for Jacksonville. That's why they went and got him.
Oh, how would you feel about Hollywood Brown?
I don't think he fits what we're trying to do.
Okay.
He's more down the field. I think he's more yards after catch. I'm really talking about like a Zay Jones or a I don't know. I don't know why Zay Jones comes to mind, but Zay Jones is like, he fits.
Ideal.
Yeah.
You need an adult in the room, right?
But I also want to say, I think the defense is playing at a lights out level. I think what Green Bay is showing is that defensively, starting through the defensive line, we get pressure. You guys realize that wasn't even our full starting defense. We had a lot of guys missing on offense and defense, particularly on defense in the back end, missing starting safety, starting corners, and we just generated pressure. That's what I like to see from the Green Bay Packers. Listen, they keep calling him Matt LeFleur, but call him Big Game Matt. Outside of a few playoff games, when it comes to coaching on shorthanded weeks or coaching underhanded or with a hurt roster, the guy comes up with game plans that the team executes at a very high level. We've won a lot of games we had no business winning because we simply just outplayed the other team. Similarly to Detroit, if you watch that game from start to finish, you would have known the Green Bay Packers were flat out the better team on the field. No denying it.
And you guys are the first team out. You're currently 8th. Yeah, I didn't realize you all were so close to the playoffs.
We're rolling right now. And they said it's a rebuild. It is a rebuild, but it's a show me something rebuild. Imagine if this team is able to sneak into the playoffs. Now you're looking at Jordan Love and you're saying, yo, we got to build around you because it's clear you're there. You're there.
Now that we've talked about the positive, I know you wanted to get your shit off on the Lions. Pause.
Detroit, coming into this week, everyone kept saying Detroit has an easy path to the 1 seed. Like Philadelphia is eventually going to slip up, maybe 1 or 2 games. They got a tough stretch of games. You're Detroit. You got a lot of divisional games left. Your big game is probably the Lions. If you can play like you've been playing, you have a chance to maybe catch Philadelphia at the end of the year for the number 1 seed. And that's what y'all come out there and do, like in front of the hose in prime time. That's what y'all do. That's what y'all that's the performance we go out there and put out in front of Jack Harlow in the igloo.
What a terrible halftime show.
And Jack, you got to perform "Loving on Me" a little bit earlier than that set. I see what you're trying to do. That's my shit. I don't like no whips and chains when you can't slow me down. And you
Jack Harlow's set look like
hey, hold on,
an oversized slip and slide.
Hold on. I need y'all to know that the budget for the Thanksgiving Day halftime show and the budget for the Super Bowl halftime show is very different.
Can we talk for a second about how y'all was out here lusting for Dolly Parton doing the Cowboys halftime show?
Why not?
Y'all go to hell,
man.
Let me tell you something.
You act like you wouldn't, if Dolly wasn't to part that way, you wouldn't knock that ton out of here. Hey.
Dolly, let me tell you something about Dolly. Dolly take them Spanx off and that thing hitting the floor. I guarantee it.
I'm gonna be in that bitch like Jolene.
Dolly Parton take her Spanx off, that thing slapping the floor. You don't want no parts of that.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Why are you disrespecting legends like this? I don't like it. Why are you disrespecting legends like this?
Why y'all so horny? Like even Skip Bayless was on Twitter like, yo.
Okay. I don't want to be mentioned with Skip Bayless.
Yo, did you see Skip's tweet?
Okay, yes, maybe Skip was a little. Nah, I mean,
Skip was super horny. Dak was beating up the Commanders, and Dolly Parton was on TV. I know Skip was looking at Ernest.
why are we not talking about Dak on the sideline eating turkey legs?
Hilarious. The Commanders. The only thing that can go worse for the Commanders is if that happened in DC. I mean, who among us thought the Commanders had a chance?
Well,
Who? I didn't even. I'm so glad that was the second game because everyone was
the
eating.
league in passing yards.
He also leads the leagues in sacks. Sacks taken. Is that still the case?
Let me be perfectly honest with you. When this game came on, I had just finished eating. I just put the leftovers in the little containers, and I was laying on the couch. About midway through the first, while I fully got relaxed on the couch. I'm not gonna hold you. It started to get ugly. I think I fell asleep, and then I woke up.
Yep.
I woke up, and it was like middle of the third or the top of the fourth, and it was very much out of reach. And I was just like, "What the fuck happened? What happened?" But then, at whatever point in the game that Jim Nance was literally saying Deron Bland could break the pick six all-time record, and as it happened, that's when I kind of had zoned back into the game, and I was like, "Oh, brother, this game is yuck. Who scheduled this?"
I mean, that's a Thanksgiving tradition. Like, why do the Lions get every Thanksgiving? No. Can we talk about the competitive advantage that those teams get, or no?
Who?
So the Cowboys have a Thursday night game on Thanksgiving. They have a Thursday night game this week. And then they have an extra 2 days to prepare for the Eagles game on Sunday night. Same thing with San Francisco. They had a Thanksgiving game, and now they get extra days to prepare for Philadelphia this week. It's okay.
Listen to what the fuck you're about to. Next subject. Yo,
that's okay though.
Yo, if there's one thing an Eagle fan's gonna do, y'all are pathetic. Y'all know that.
We're number one in the league.
Y'all are pathetic sometimes.
We'll get to the Eagles in a second. Let's talk about some other games on Sunday. The Jags take care of the Texans in quite the game. Yeah, very thrilling. Let me tell you something. Them Houston red on reds with the candy paint helmet, fire, nice, top tier.
It's nice. Listen, say one thing. The Texans may have lost this game, but let me tell you something. They're building something in Houston, and it's funny how what one quarterback can do for a franchise.
It's amazing what a franchise, because we laughed at them, right? They drafted C.J. Stroud and they drafted Will Anderson, and we're like, what are you doing? Now look at them. They could make the playoffs. They could legit make the playoffs, which is amazing.
It's a lot of jambalaya up there in the AFC, but they could.
Falcons take control of probably the worst division in all of football. I saw something today. It was like whoever wins the NFC South is going to have to play Dallas or Philadelphia at home, and they're going to get like the 19th pick in the draft. Why are you trying to win that division?
As you said, I said, yeah, that's the two they'd probably have to play. And I thought about it, and I said, man,
congratulations, Atlanta. Dallas is on the way.
But you know what's funny is I'm not going to say it's a lose-lose, but you win the division. You're playing Dallas or Philly. Let's just say you knock one of them off.
Yeah.
Now you're making it to the second round. Now that draft pick slips even further, and whoever you play next, which would probably be
you'd go to the 2 seed, because the lowest seed goes to the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So if the Falcons win, they'd be the 4 seed. They'd play the 5, and if they won, they'd go to the 2 seed. So congratulations, you get to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, so now you're going to San Francisco, and now
or Philadelphia,
or whoever,
or Detroit, like wherever you're going.
Now they're already like, oh, now we can't play with them. So now you're getting their best game, and now you're picking that pick like 23, 24.
Have fun, Derek Carr. Like if I'm the Falcons, I want no parts of that, because if you make the playoffs, you can't get rid of Desmond Ridder.
And if you don't believe that it could happen, look at the New York Giants this year. Same thing.
Listen, same exact thing. Listen, if I'm the Falcons, I am starting Desmond Ridder because he is terrible, and we're going to play ourselves out of the NFC South. We're going to get a top 10 pick, and maybe we can salvage something here. But New Orleans, go for it.
But the thing is, New Orleans came in as a team that was actually that was their goal. They didn't want an early draft pick. Tampa didn't know what they were coming into. And I would say of all the teams, Tampa's in an interesting position where I think early in the year, they really believed they had something. And then as the weeks have gone on, the last couple of weeks, they've realized, nah, this may not be it.
What draft pick do the Buccaneers have to get before they have a fire sale? Like 6, 5?
What do you mean?
Like I'm saying, if the Buccaneers have the opportunity to draft a quarterback, a good quarterback, do you think they start having a fire sale, getting rid of Baker, getting rid of Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, and starting this rebuild? Because how old is Chris? Mike Evans is old. How old is Chris Godwin?
I think they would start by trading Mike Evans, probably for a team that's looking for a veteran receiver, probably looking for like a couple seconds.
Chris Godwin is 27.
So you got
he might be able to stay around.
You'll get more Chris Godwin. I know they also feel highly of Trey Palmer down in Tampa. Honestly, I think this is a kind of a deep quarterback class this year. I think if you're Tampa right now, the way you're looking at it, if you fall out of that top 20 range, that's probably you got.
Right now they're 7th.
Yeah, so you stick with it. You stick with it because you never know. You might mess around and win a couple games or two, or you might mess around and make the playoffs, and then you're going from a top 10 to a top 15, top 20 pick.
It's funny because every team in front of them could be looking for a new quarterback. Chicago's in there twice. Arizona, New England, the Commanders,
Arizona,
the Giants, probably not
a new QB, by the way.
You don't think so? You don't think they trade Kyler Murray?
Have you been watching the games? I think Kyler Murray is.
Kyler looks great, but do you think they'd want to keep him? If you can get a cheaper quarterback who you think is just as good or has the potential to be better.
They paid him that money, and listen, they built a team around him. You saw what that team is like without him. I think when you find good quarterback play, it's better to bank on what you have. Same with the Vikings. You go out here, like, you just don't have the roster to just be going out here and telling guys who are really, really good players, but are in that middle part of their career that we're in a rebuild. Like, you're not telling people that. Like, especially when you have someone like a Kyler Murray, like a Kirk Cousins, pay him his money. Like, what are we doing here? Pay him his money.
I'm with you. I think you keep Kyler, but I don't think it's completely out of the
I think he
discussion.
runs Shane's offense a good way. I don't think Kyler's where they need to start in terms of revamping that.
I agree.
So I
first you need to fire Jonathan Gannon, then you get started.
I don't think that's what we need to do. But
how much time do you want to spend talking about the Patriots and the Giants?
Roger Goodell, John O, whoever owns the Giants name, and Mr. Robert Kraft, y'all need to give a lot of people their money back. That was god awful, but it was hilarious. But it was god awful.
I think after Mac Jones' second turnover, I think NFL Red Zone was like, you know what? Don't even worry about this.
Good.
We are good on this. We'll let you know when
Scott Hansen going through a fire drill, letting folks know, yo, dog, trust me, y'all not missing nothing.
There's more action in this building right now than what's happening in that life.
It was one of the nastiest games I've ever probably seen.
It was disgusting. And the NFL should be ashamed to put their fans through that. I can't imagine buying Sunday ticket and they're saying, hey, you want to watch the Patriots and Giants? Man, fuck out of here.
Hey, what about the Bears and the Vikings wasn't too much better.
God. I think we should be allowed to flex games a lot sooner. I'm shocked the NFL didn't, because I think they can flex Monday night games.
You need like 18. It's got to be like 18 or so, or 12 or 18 days now.
Oh, really? Yeah. Dog, last night I didn't even watch last night's game. I had no desire to watch Josh Dobbs versus Justin Fields.
I was watching it for fantasy purposes, and I ended up going to bed so sick.
You know what I watched last night? My wife and I watched Sister Wives. I love that show.
That's not hip hop.
It's funny though.
We'll talk about it later, but I was more excited to watch WWE. That got me out of my bad mood.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later.
How normal is it for fantasy to really fuck your mood up for at least about an hour and a half on a Monday night?
So
Monday,
unfortunately for me,
it can fuck up like a 48-hour span.
It could, especially if it's close. Luckily, well, unfortunately for me, like this Sunday, it was very early on. Like it was probably the first half of the second round of games where I was like, "Oh, this is over in every league but one." And I just watched football just to watch it the old school way. No fan. That's why I didn't watch the Bears game last night. I had DJ Moore. I was down by 40. I was like, DJ Moore ain't doing nothing special here. I ain't gotta watch this, and I didn't. I had a great Monday night.
It's funny, and this isn't on the docket, but I think this is a great conversation. It's funny the ebbs and flows you go through playing fantasy.
Yeah.
When you're having a good year in terms of your fantasy success, and maybe you don't have as many leagues, you say to yourself, "Oh, I could do this in a few leagues. I'm nice like that. I could add a league. I can add 2 leagues. I'm nice like that. A little draft, I'm good. It's just roster management." But if you have a bad year, and let's just say you have more than one number of fantasy leagues, you're sitting there looking like, "Oh, I wasted my money on this bullshit."
Yes, and that's where I am this year. Because last year was great. Last year I came second in redraft. I won our dynasty league, and now it's like, man, I can't believe I wasted my money.
Yeah, like I wasted my money on this bullshit. You wouldn't look. You'd be mad as hell when that fantasy group chat pop up, man. You'd be like,
I muted the redraft one.
You be in that bitch like
thumbs down, everything. To hell with that. Yeah, that's me this year.
Listen, it's funny because this year I'm in 9 leagues. And I would say I'm hovering around 500 in a lot of leagues. So a lot of leagues I've lost like a couple teams. I think my worst record is like 4-7, but these are teams that have multiple losses by like 10 points or less. So it's one of those type of years where it could have. I'm 4-7. I could easily be like, I'm 4-7. I could easily be 7-4 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or 4-8 or whatever. So I guess it's just one of those years. Now I'm looking at next year and I'm like, I don't know. I think I need to get a finite number next year and just stick with that for like life, or until these leagues die out.
And I think when you're in multiple leagues, you tend to draft like the same players, right? Like you have an idea. Like in our redraft league, I built my team around Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley, and that was a terrible decision.
But that's also fantasy. I'm in so many leagues where I go into the weeks and knowing I'm like I'm setting my lineups, but I'm also playing myself in a lot of leagues. So
that's true. Yes, you're fighting yourself. And I'll say, like in another league, like I had AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson. Like the first 5 weeks, not only was I winning, I was I'm winning by 100 points. And now that Jettis is hurt, like I'm barely going to make the playoffs if I make the playoffs in that league. So it hasn't been the best year, but it's okay because we come back next year, and you know what we call that? False hope and addiction.
I'm looking at my leagues now, and I'm saying, all right, I think one of you, I think will be going, maybe 2 of you, but I think I know the keepers, and I'm talking about, well, I mean, like our super flex league, for example. I don't know if that's really coming back next year.
I don't know either. Jordan beat the hell out of me this week. It wasn't fun.
Yeah. I don't know if that league comes back next year. I like the redraft league. That's a keeper for life. I think it's grown in a way that I think it will continue to be as competitive as it.
Yep.
This year, I think it'll be a continuation of that. The Dynasty League, you got to keep that. I mean, there's just
it's too much fun.
Yeah.
Too much fun.
And I think once we get the right 10 people in there, because we'll be having some changes. Where are we at with the NFL? We'll come back.
We got the Chiefs back on track. Dog, they were down 14-0, and I didn't even flinch. I was like, oh, that's cute.
I was sitting there looking at Patty like, hey, yo, dog, come on, man.
Let
me tell you something. Rashee Rice You ran Isaiah Pacheco. No, it was Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice. You caught a pass and you got downed at the 1 yard line. I
The
want you to
worst.
know if you score that touchdown, a couple of my games look a lot different.
That's the worst. Ravens and Chargers both did their best Chargers impersonation Sunday night. Anything on them?
Brandon Staley, bro, just reach out to your realtor. You need to reach out to your realtor.
I hope you didn't buy it. Well, I hope you did, because everyone can buy a house in LA. Doesn't matter where you are, you can buy a house in LA.
Listen, that's an investment. That's $1 million investment.
that's
$1 million investment. Brandon Staley, I need you to start being in touch with your realtor because it's getting spooky.
You want to talk about the game of the week?
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about the Eagles and Bills?
Eagles and Bills, hell of a game.
Do you want to go first?
Philly. Listen, this is all I'm going to say. First off, Josh Allen and the Bills played a hell of a game.
Yes.
That game could have went either way. I think I know they're in a position in the AFC where it might be tough to make the playoffs, but I think if they continue to play how they did, I think there's a lot that this team can hang their hat on and a lot that they can move forward with the effort they put in. With that being said, I don't know. Actually, the NFC's bad. The Eagles are clearly the best team in the NFC.
We'll see. We'll see Sunday.
Every week I come in here and say there's got to be one team that plays the Eagles that doesn't piss on themselves a little bit better than the Eagles are pissing on themselves the way they be doing in these games. And every week I'm shocked when that doesn't happen, which means y'all play bad, but y'all play enough to win. That's respectable. That's how championship teams are built. We'll see this week against, the 49ers.
Yep.
But versus the Bills, hey, the Eagles just made the plays to win the game. I mean, it's simple as that. I think it's easy to hate, but they made the plays to win the game. It was not pretty. It was not dominant. In a lot of ways, they should have really lost that game. But they made the plays to win the game. And that's what you call championship football. That's all I got.
Jalen's never out of a game. I'm amazed how he had the worst half of football in the past 2 years. He's been the quarterback.
Brother,
and then he turned around and had like the third best half because the Super Bowl was his best.
But the team hasn't looked like the hottest over the last 3 or 4 games.
They just win though. Jalen just makes the throw. Jalen just makes the run. Now I will say you can't get behind against the 49ers because that's how they win. They have to get off to fast starts. They get a lead. They run the ball. They play hard-nosed defense because they know you're going to pass.
That's the thing with the 49ers. If you get up on them, you shut them down completely because they cannot just throw the ball. It's like a robot that's been in the water. Like they just start malfunctioning. They start freaking the fuck out.
I will say Jalen, Magabosa his sacks seem to go up when he plays against black quarterbacks. Be careful. And that is a stat. Like when Bosa plays against black quarterbacks, for some reason he just find his way home.
You said this earlier this year when you guys played for the NFC Championship game, and
he got shut down. Lane Johnson said, "No, ain't no clan rally here."
Yeah, is Lane Johnson playing this week? I saw that he didn't play last week.
He said he is. He said he sat this week so he could play. He said the rumor is that this week in the Dallas game are more important, which they are because they're conference and divisional games. I will say this. The Eagles are going to split these 2 games. Like they're either going to beat San Fran and lose to Dallas or lose to San Fran and beat Dallas. I don't think they win both.
What if y'all go 0-2?
I mean, if you go 0-2, it's not the end of the world. Like they still have a half game cushion over because every team has 3 losses except the Eagles. Eagles are 10-1. Everyone else has 3 losses. So, like, if you win 2, you have 3 losses like the rest of them. You just can't slip up the rest of the season because you got to go to Seattle after that, and you get the Giants twice and the Cardinals. So the cushion's gone, but it's not the end of the world if they go 0-2.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If y'all fuck around and lose one of the games to either the Giants or the game to the Cardinals, I'm going to look at y'all funny.
Well, hopefully the goal is to have the 1 seed wrapped up because the last game of the season is in MetLife. And as we've seen MetLife just be taking people's careers, like hopefully the 1 seed is wrapped up. Like if they beat Dallas, if they beat.
But here's the thing about the NFL. That's not going to happen.
I know. I said in a perfect world, like because Dallas has quite the schedule coming up too. Like everyone talk about the Eagles gauntlet. Dallas has like Seattle, us, Detroit, Buffalo. Like Dallas has quite the.
Oh,
All right,
please.
man. We see what Dallas.
The Buffalo be the real test here. Oh, please.
We see how
Detroit,
Dallas does against
y'all should be
teams with
ashamed of y'allself for letting the team that y'all have that hasn't beaten y'all since probably 2019, 2020, since the fans wasn't in the stand. Y'all gonna come and see our house on Turkey Day.
Crazy.
The year they doing a Barry Sanders doc. That's how y'all act.
Can I ask you a question?
Suck ass niggas. What's up?
Whoa, is that a Keely? What's going on in Carolina? Frank Wright's gone after 11 games. That's like the third shortest tenure in NFL history. It's definitely top 5.
Listen, David Tepper must have money out the wazoo because he's just playing a lot of players and coaches, a lot of dead money that he just don't care. It's not funny what's going on in Carolina, but
it's funny.
It's funny. This is what happens when you have a delusional owner who I don't think recognizes how maybe hard it is to build a championship level team and the unrealistic expectations that come with having an unrealistic GM. It sounds like David Tepper since 2015 has been trying to find that love for his team like he did when he had Cam Newton and they went all the way to the Super Bowl. He's been trying to find his love for the game ever since.
Who would want that job? Like after you treat Frank Wright like that, who would want that job? Like what coach who is of the ilk that he's looking for was like, yeah, I want that Carolina job. You don't have your first round pick because you traded that to get Bryce. You got an owner that can fire you before your first year's over. Like who wants to go to Carolina? Like who would take that job? You had Steve Wilkes. It seemed like everyone liked Steve Wilkes, but you were like, nah, I don't want him.
Yeah, I don't want that black boy.
I don't want no colored up in here. We got enough of them.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. I let him. But we're like, who you gonna get? Like Ron Rivera's gonna. You know who's gonna go there? What's the Chargers head coach name? Brandon Staley. Like that. Like that's the job he's gonna have to take to build his name back up. Which is not gonna matter. So he can get fired in a year.
Yo, could you imagine Brandon Staley on the Chargers? It might be real-time comedy.
For the Panthers?
I mean Panthers.
Hilarity. But for real though, right? Like who do you call? Like you're gonna have to call someone who this is their last chance or their first opportunity, right? Like Byron Leftwich. He ain't been in the league since he interviewed for all those jobs at Tampa Bay. Now he's gone. Like that's the kind of job he's gonna have to take to get back in the league.
Or maybe it's an opportunity to bring somebody out of retirement.
Like who? Like who's going to want that job?
Bobby Petrino.
Bobby's going. Bobby don't want no parts. Bobby has been blackballed from the NFL. I promise you that. Nick Saban's the only person who has left in that manner and can be invited back.
You think so? What happened with Nick Saban and the Dolphins again?
So Nick Saban, the reports had got out that he accepted the Bama job, and he got on camera multiple times and lied. It was like, I am not taking the Bama job. I am not interested in the Bama job. I am focused on the Miami Dolphins. And then the next day, he's in Tuscaloosa at his press conference taking the Bama job.
Couple national championships later.
Oh, it worked out. Like I said, Nick Saban's the only one who can go back and be like, yeah, I want to coach NFL, and teams would be like, sure. And Harbaugh, because people love Harbaugh.
Well, he might not be coming back to college to the NFL anytime.
He's gonna be in LA.
Listen, David Tepper, Carolina Panthers, I don't like that shit you did. And what I feel like y'all gonna do is y'all gonna try to play up in the faces of black people everywhere across this country, and y'all are going to hire a black coach and fire him in 6 to 12 games next year. But I'm going to tell you like this. I have to clear my throat. Pause. As long as I'm alive and I'm breathing and David Tepper owns the Carolina Panthers, I am not going out of my way to watch that franchise any longer.
Do you know
it has to be shown to me on Red Zone, or I'm turning the TV off because I see the writing on the wall.
Do you know how this plays out the next 2 years? You're right. They're going to hire a black coach. They're going to give him 2 years because Tepper can't get that reputation of firing coaches after a year. The Panthers are going to have all the draft picks. They're going to have the salary cap. The landscape is going to be perfect, and then they're going to fire him. And then they're going to bring in someone else and give them all those resources to rebuild the Panthers. That's the next 2 years of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. It wouldn't even surprise me if one of these years throughout this rebuild, when they find this coach, they have like a half decent year too.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So the second year, so next year is going to be terrible. So they're 1-10 now. So next year they'll be 4-13. And then the year after that, they'll be 500 NFC South contention, budding playoff team. And then like, oh, and the Panthers have XYZ and they have all this cap space. And then like, hey, guy, get out of here. There's some whiz kid.
Around then they'll be probably trying to look to move on from Bryce Young.
Yeah, because you know who's going to be there? Sean McVay.
Where do you get these names from?
Well, Sean, remember, so last offseason, Sean McVay considered walking away. And then he came back. Like Sean has been flirting with retirement for the past couple of years.
How does that link him to Carolina?
Yeah, if he walks away this year, he'll take a year off, and then he'll be like, hey, I want to get back to coaching. Oh, come to Carolina.
He'd have to get traded, though.
Not if he were. Yeah, I don't know how many years left on his contract. That's a good point. You don't think Carolina would trade for Sean McVay? Hey, here's Bryce Young. Give us Sean McVay.
First off, I don't think the Rams want to do that. And two, I think Sean McVay is coaching for the Rams, and then if he's not doing that, he's going to TV.
High key, it should be Kyle Shanahan, but we're going to have a Kyle Shanahan discussion after the playoffs. I'm ready. I'm ready to have this Kyle Shanahan discussion, but we're not going
to. Okay. We got to have it after the game on Sunday.
No, we're going to have it after the playoffs when they're eliminated. Then we can have the Sean McVay discussion. I mean, not the Sean McVay, the Kyle Shanahan discussion.
Speaking of playoffs, do you think the Steelers are, with this new look offense, is going to be able to make it there? Did they impress you enough?
I need to see it more. It was cool to watch, and they're still in the playoff hunt. Like Mike Tomlin, like we talk about, I'm not counting him out. I need to see more of it. Anyone who could turn Kenny Pickett into a 300-yard passer deserves all the money in the world. Did Kenny have 300 yards?
It was around there. They were moving the ball up and down on the Bengals, which is surprising.
He had 278.
Oh, so I mean,
but he had no TDs.
I think that's what's so fascinating about this Steelers offense. I don't think they really trust Kenny to throw it, but they do trust him enough to throw it. If that makes sense.
You know what's crazy? I did not know this. He only has 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions this year. That is like 3 weeks for most starting professional quarterbacks.
It's tough out here for Kenny Pickett. They don't trust him to throw the ball downfield.
That is insane. He only has 2,000 yards on the season. That's insane.
They don't trust him to throw the football.
Hold on. Now I'm intrigued. What are Justin Fields' stats?
He's probably right around 3,000 or 2,500.
No, so 15. So Justin Fields has 1587, but he
missed like a month though.
He did though, but he has 12 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. That is insane. Like Kenny Pickett,
they don't trust
Young
him
might have better stats. Bryce Young is 9 and 8, 1,800 yards. Okay. Wow, I did not know Kenny Pickett was so terrible.
They don't trust him to throw the ball.
Now I got it. Now one more person. Never mind. Desmond Ridder is putrid. I don't even want to read Desmond Ridder stats. We ain't even look at that. Desmond Ridder was great in college, but whoo, buddy. Speaking of college,
Jinx.
Yeah. Well, what do I owe you?
Well, first a pause because I just felt like that statement needed a pause.
Okay, pause.
Secondly, Milwaukee and Miami are in a close game. In-season tournament, Miami's up 44-41. They are in Miami.
The Mavs were eliminated last week. Thank God. I don't want to see that no more. I don't care.
Lakers are in, baby.
Congratulations.
But that was one of the ugliest basketball games I've ever seen the Los Angeles Lakers play last night. I'm just going to throw that.
Man, that's probably the worst loss of the season for the Lakers. And you got out of the way in November. What's up, Gator J? Bam, everyone in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
But it is Gator J. Bam. What's up? What's up? Let's talk about it. We're here. We're talking about college.
Conference championship week. So the big one, of course, Bama Georgia SEC championship, Michigan versus Iowa in the Big Ten championship, Florida State Louisville ACC, Oregon Washington Pac-12, Texas Oklahoma State Big 12. Out of those teams, who's going to win and who is your Final Four in the college football playoff?
All right, I'm gonna start with the Big 12. I like Texas. I think Texas is really coming into form. I think if you watch them play, they are really hitting their strides on offense and defense. I think Quinn Ewers is really good at the quarterback position. I like how they're running the ball. I like how they're passing the ball. I like how they're getting up the quarterback. So I like Texas to win. Pac-12, I think this will be the highest scoring game of the weekend. I'm going to go with Oregon, though. I think they're going to get their revenge. I like Oregon. I like Louisville to win the ACC. I think without the quarterback for FSU is going to be really tough. I know they had Florida last week, but Florida is in Louisville. Louisville's coming off a tough loss. I think they're going to be really motivated in this game. Listen, man, I'm not betting against them. I'm going Michigan to win the Big Ten. I don't know if Iowa has any type of offense. And I mean this with the utmost respect. I literally do not know if they have any offense to combat Michigan. So I'm going to go with Michigan there. Come on, man. And the SEC, if you know me, do you think I'm picking them? Roll Tide. Yeah. That's how I'm coming out. Roll Tide to win the SEC. And then I think in a week, Danny, when we're talking about the college football playoff, we're going to be talking about how Michigan is going in as number 1. Alabama's going in as number 2. How Oregon's going in as number 3. And how Texas will go in as number 4 to complete the college football playoff of Bama, Michigan, Oregon, Texas.
Okay. So I'll go right down. I am with you. I think Bama wins. I'm picking Bama to beat Georgia. Michigan, same thing. I don't think that's going to be over. Luckily, that's the 4:00 game. Go out, get dinner, go to the liquor store, do what you got to do, run your errands.
Yeah, you got to.
I am with you. I'm taking Louisville over Florida State. I've been saying even before old boy got hurt, Florida State, they looking sweet.
They were a good team. He just let a lot of that cause. So without him, I just don't see. I don't think they're in. You know what I'm saying?
Florida State hasn't played a hard opponent since LSU. I think they're.
I think they.
And if they do get in, I'm just saying. No, they didn't play Louisville. ACC's 2 conferences. It's not one.
It's just one now.
ACC.
No, it's just one. It's one.
It's just one now. When did they play Louisville?
They might. I think they may have played them earlier in the year.
Oh, I must have missed that. I am going to take Washington over Oregon. I do want to pick Oregon, but man, Washington is just it's just so much offense, man. And then I am taking Texas over Oklahoma State 2. So my 4 is Michigan 1, Washington 2, Georgia 3, Texas is 4. Let me be clear. If Texas wins, it does not matter what happens in Michigan 1, Washington 2, Georgia 3, Texas 4. And I'll say this.
You have Alabama winning but not making the college football playoff.
Correct. You can't put Bama in after they lose to Texas. If you put Bama in, you got to put Texas in because Texas has the head-to-head. If Texas wins, it does not matter what happens in the SEC game because Texas has the tiebreaker over Bama. You can't do that, dog. You can't let the mystique of the SEC. Texas walk into Tuscaloosa and beat Bama. They cannot get into the college football
But
playoff.
based on your
and
logic,
Texas doesn't
then how
get
would
in.
that? But based on your logic, how would it make sense then for Alabama to be left out?
Because they have one loss, and that one loss is to Texas. If Alabama's in, Texas has to be in because Texas beat Bama in Alabama.
No, but
You
said, but
you can't
your
look
top
Texas
four-
in the eye and say we think Bama's better than you, even though you beat Bama. Like they have the
Okay.
head to head. That's the big
Okay.
joker.
But here's my
I
thing.
beat you head
But
to
here's my
head.
thing. You have a top four that consists of Georgia with no
Yes,
SEC
a one-loss
championship.
Georgia team.
A one-loss Georgia
Yep.
team with no SEC
You
championship.
if you put
And then
Bama in, you have to put Texas in.
Then you include a one-loss Texas team with a Big 12 championship. But you don't include
Yes,
the
because
one
the one
loss.
you
But you don't include the
can't-
one-loss Alabama team with the SEC championship.
you as a committee cannot put Bama in and not put Texas in because Texas beat Bama.
No,
Like you
I'm
can't look
asking
someone in the
you,
eye and say
But
objectively
Texas and Bama, why do you still have Georgia in as a one-loss team with no conference championship?
because Georgia's still like it's still a one-loss Georgia team, right?
Okay,
Like Georgia,
but
Georgia
you
can't
came to the
drop from
table with
one
no-
to
But
complete.
you came to the table with no conference championship. So yeah, you've been undefeated, but you played.
I mean, Bama made it after they lost their conference championship a couple years ago.
It's year by year. It's different now.
Oh, okay. Now it's year by year.
It's different now. Look at the landscape of college football this year. You can't leave an undefeated Michigan team out. You can't leave a conference champion SEC champion out because that doesn't make any sense. Especially if it's a one-loss team, you can't leave them out. You're not going to leave out the Pac-12 winner because they've been clearly one of the best teams all year, and you're not going to leave out Texas, who you've already had as one of the two first in teams most of the rankings. So it's not going to make any sense.
You can't put Bama in and leave Texas out. If Bama's in, Texas.
I'm saying the same thing. But I'm saying you put Bama in, you put Texas in. Georgia's the odd man out because they have no conference.
Then I'm okay with that. My rationale is you can't put Texas in. I mean, you can't put Bama in and not Texas.
I'm with you.
Like both of them have to be in.
I'm with you.
And if not, then Bama's the odd one out because Texas beat Bama. Like if it's between,
what happens if Florida State wins though? That throws a monkey wrench in everything.
That throws. I don't think that. Yeah, that's a big monkey wrench.
Technically, they are number 4, Florida State. So a lot of people who assume that they lose. If Florida State wins, I'm gonna let you guys know right now. They did not play Louisville this year, so I was wrong. So they play for the first time this season on Saturday. But imagine if Florida State wins. That means they ran the gauntlet with undefeated, a top 5 LSU win and a top 15 Louisville win, at Florida win without their quarterback, a win against a ranked Duke team, and they went to Clemson and won. A Clemson team that's now ranked. Wasn't ranked at the time, but they are ranked now.
That's good enough for the 3 spot. So it would be Washington versus Florida State, and then Michigan against whoever the 4 seed is. Whoever the SEC champ is, then, because if Florida State wins, then you put in the SEC. No, because you still can't put in. Then it's Georgia. It has to be like you can't put Bama in and not Texas.
I'm saying you're getting,
especially if both of them are conference champions.
I'm saying you get,
like you can't objectively put Bama in over Texas. Like you can't do that.
Listen,
Texas,
Florida State. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all better be. If y'all win, y'all are gonna put a lot of shit into some. It's gonna be shaky. We're gonna see.
We're gonna see the real bias if Florida State wins and that final spot becomes between Georgia, Bama, and Texas.
I think if Bama wins, though, they're getting in, which means you
have to put Texas in, which is fine. Like you can't put one without the other.
There's gonna be. Listen, fan bases, knock knock. There's gonna be a fan base left out here. I'll tell you what. If Georgia wins, Bama, I don't think there's anything to talk about. So this really becomes, if Georgia and Florida State win, this really isn't a conversation.
Right now, if Oregon wins, because you can't leave the Pac-12 champion out. The Pac-12 has been the best conference.
If Oregon wins, then everyone moves up 1, and Oregon moves to the 4.
Okay, so that means who would be the first one out then? Texas then, because Texas is the first. Yeah, for me, it's the same logic. You can't put Bama in without putting Texas in.
Yep. We'll see.
Let's see what we got next.
I mean,
Oh,
we're staying in college football. We're right here.
yeah, we're doing our favorite segment. So, people are calling for Ryan Day's job after Ohio State loses 3 straight to Michigan, and some are even. Well, the A&M job has been filled. What do you think about people calling for Ryan Day's job?
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is a big deal. One, why do you say this, Darius? Ryan
Why is it
Day.
a government name?
Ryan Day. As a bandwagon Ohio State fan, true in the closet, I cheer for them only because they're always good bandwagoner. Yes, I'm a bandwagon Bama fan. I'm a bandwagon Ohio State fans. I tell everyone, if they happen to play each other, my heart's happy. I don't care who wins the game. With that being said, Ryan Day, you have looked CJ Stroud in the eyes. You have looked Emeka Egbuka in the eyes. You look Jackson Smith and Jigba in the eyes. You've looked Marvin Harrison Jr. in the eyes. You've looked Chris Olave in the eyes. You've looked Garrett Wilson in the eyes. You've looked at Travion Henderson in the eyes. You've looked at a number of really good players in the eyes, and you failed them. You failed them. Last weekend was the last straw. It was your very last day. You're out of here, buddy. You can't beat Michigan. Me, as a loyal Ohio State bandwagon fan, you got to go. You got to go. You can't motivate men. And that's my problem.
My question, and I get it. I get what this rivalry means.
If you ask me who? Urban! Hey, big head. Fuck all this bullshit. Listen,
Dog.
Urban. You see what they say about Bobby? That's why they put that news out. That's why
Every
they put
day,
that
though.
news out. Listen, I got a conspiracy right now. The NCAA is greasing y'all up because they are about to start rehiring a lot of slime balls from the past because they are recognizing these NIL dollars and the importance of maximizing recruits while you have them. Urban Meyer, I know Ohio State is reaching out to your representation right now, wondering what's the number and how soon can you get a staff together? It wouldn't even surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if they went to Ryan Day, asked him to move back to your offensive coordinator position so that they could bring back Urban Meyer as a homecoming.
Can we talk about something real quick? That's hilarious, first of all. But can we talk about Texas A&M and how Texas A&M was too good for Mark Stoops? Hold on. Was it Bob Stoops? Excuse me.
Yeah, it's Bob Stoops, Coach Kentucky.
Yes.
No, it might be Mark.
Hold on. Let me look.
It was Mark. Bob Stoops coached Oklahoma.
Yeah, Mark Stoops. You're telling me Mark Stoops did at Kentucky. No one cared about Kentucky football the past couple of years. Kentucky has been reputable. They know they're not winning the SEC, but they're competitive. And that's all you can ask for in the same conference as the Georgias and the Bamas. You're in the same conference, A&M.
Listen,
and Texas is here, and Oklahoma is here. It's about to get worse.
This is my thing about A&M. Y'all realize all these people y'all hire and then fire, you still got to pay them.
Hey, they don't care about that. Have you seen the price of oil lately? They don't care. They saw that price of energy went up. They said, how much we owe Jimbo in 90 days? Right there, right now.
Listen, I need to go back to college because if I would have really walked on to the football program and became like a scout or something. Why? Because I would have worked my way up to become a head coach. Why? Because this is a new wave. You want to make a buck, you become a good you become a good high school head coach, then you go coach at a D3 school, you hopefully get hired at a D2 school, make some noise there, then you go to like a Division I AA, maybe make a little bit of noise there. Then you get hired doing it like a Purdue type beat, a Duke type beat, a
Vanderbilt.
Syracuse type beat. You got to be grinding.
Yeah.
You got to go to a Division I school that know they ain't got the real money to be competing with the big boys, but you got to make do with what you got. Then you go out there and you have a 6-6, 7, then a 7-5, then a 8-4, and then oh, the Lord be glory, you stumble upon one 10-win season. Danny, what happens when you stumble upon that 10-win season?
Oh, they come calling.
You don't make it to the bowl game. They've already bought you out.
You've already gone.
And
Did I tell you about the time I tried to walk on to our college football team?
How did that work out for you?
Oh, it was the worst month of my life. Worst 6 weeks of my life.
They beat up on you?
No, so they didn't have a football team. This was the first roster. So it was like a 6-week, like they wanted to emulate what life would be like for a student athlete. So it was like 6 weeks, practice at 5 a.m., go to class. Dog. That offense, I wanted to play fullback because I was too short to play because I played offensive line and D-line in college. I was too short to play those positions in college, but I was quick enough. Like I could probably tote the rock, and I could probably be a lead blocker if I had a head of steam. And the coach was like, "So what position you want to play? What you thinking about?" Because he was confused too, and I was like, "Oh, I want to be a fullback."
He was confused.
And he was like, "We ain't got no fullback."
Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. He was confused. That brother was looking at you saying,
Yeah.
"Yo, bro, dog, what are you doing?"
He said, "Sir, you are 5'8", 250 pounds. What the hell are you gonna do out here?"
Yeah, he's saying you can't seal the edge.
Yeah, he's like, "You can't play DN. You too little to play tackle. You too slow to play linebacker. What you doing here?"
And what was your answer?
And I was like, "I want to play fullback." And he was like, "I ain't got no fullback in this offense.
Oh.
It's a spread offense." And I was like, "Damn." But I didn't quit because I wanted to prove to myself that I could still do it, even though I knew I wasn't gonna make the team. The measurables just.
I'm proud of you for not quitting, because in a situation like that, you could have thrown in the towel. My boy stood strong. My man stood strong.
Still terrible.
Listen.
While we're giving credit, that Virginia Tech UVA game was nasty.
Oh, my brother. Oh, my
Nasty.
brother. I'm
nasty
glad you
business.
brought it up, because I'm here to talk my shit for the one time.
Where's your Hokie gear? I saw you had on the jacket when you came on.
Come on. You thought I was playing today? Woo! Woo!
Do you want to hear a funny story about that?
No. HOKIES Hokies. Come on. What we tell you? What did we? It wasn't even in doubt.
Never.
Y'all didn't even show up to your own arena. We came into y'all's house. We put our foot up so far up y'all's asses. Y'all had to go back to Thomas Jefferson and them and ask them to reestablish and recreate the school. Stop playing with us. That's embarrassing.
It's funny. It's funny you mention that, because I was watching the game because I had floated to my wife. I was like, maybe we could go. And then the game was on and the stadium was empty. I was like, girl, we could get in the car right now. Draft. We're an hour away. It's like, we can drive right now, probably park right in front of the stadium and walk in for free.
You walk in for free. Matter of fact.
And I pitched that idea. I was like, you just want to walk in? And she was like, no, we're not going over there.
Listen, they would have given y'all free concessions. UVA stinks. Okay. And
in football.
Oh, listen, but it's rivalry week. What the fuck you mean in football? We talking about football. Don't try to because y'all want to go back to that basketball. Listen, y'all ain't been that hot. It's been a little bit since y'all won that little chip, and before that, y'all was known as chokers. So I wouldn't.
Don't get too high up.
We may not have no national championships in football or basketball, so y'all get us with the one little chip. But trust me, outside that one little chip, y'all been joining us on the couch. Your trip to the couch has been a little bit longer than ours.
Dog, I still can't get over that.
HOKIES Hokies.
All right, now that that's out the way, you want to shift gears to Survivor Series? Because
now we really listen. This weekend was a lit weekend. Fantasy may have pissed me off last night, but the WWE, Danny, was on fire. The War Games matches for both the men's and women's was awesome. I'm going to say this before we get into the obvious. Shout out Gunther versus Miz, a better match than it wants to get credit for. Miz, I see you trying to make a little singles run. You're trying to be in the jobber. I see. I like where we're going.
Yeah, it's almost time for Miz to pack it up. We're almost at that
Yo,
time.
you find new ways. You hating on white men.
No, Miz is like my favorite wrestler. Like I'm a big Miz fan, but it's that time. We getting close. Hey, he 43 years old. We getting close.
Yeah, maybe.
But Randy Orton's the same age, so
Rhea Ripley. I continue to be amazed by you every time you step in the ring. You are a dominant champion. I cannot hate.
Let me ask you a question. How many times did Randy practice that Daddy's Home that he pulled out last night? He's been practicing that for months. He's been in the mirror.
It's been in his repertoire. It's been it's definitely been in his repertoire.
Been thinking about that moment.
I definitely think
for months.
I think it's definitely been in his repertoire. What else before I get to it? We went to Gunther. We did tag team championships. No, we did that. Let's get into it. Io Sky, Damage Control versus the lovely ladies of Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Charlotte. Who else on that team?
Doesn't matter. I love this Damage Control story. How like they hate Bailey and they're talking trash about her in their native tongue in front of her, and she doesn't know that they're talking trash about them. Hilarious. Like that is peak storytelling.
Yeah.
Like good job, Triple H. It's hilarious.
Triple H. I think it's funny that you finally went to a nail salon nearby and just peeped some shit, and that's how you came up with this this little storyline. But
that definitely came from Stephanie. That's Stephanie's brainchild.
Oh yeah, he just went with her to the nail salon. Hunter, you will not believe this. Like it's the same woman every time she gets her nails done. I think they're talking about her. You have to come see. That man went in there and was like, "Oh, we gotta go. We gotta go right here. Yo, this is anti-reverse racism.
It's funny. I also hate that Becky and Charlotte made up. No, they need to be rivals forever. Like there are some beefs on site. That needs to be one of them because they don't like each other in real life. I hated that moment. No, we don't like each other, and that's okay.
But they really don't like each other in real life anymore?
I'm pretty sure there's been some backstage heat between the two of them.
It was so funny how these people be having like real life beef, but
well, it's funny because Becky Lynch came out. Like Becky Lynch wasn't supposed to be like she's a bigger star than Charlotte. She's Charlotte Flair, like, and Charlotte has had no character development since she's just been Charlotte Flair. She comes in, she challenges for the women's title, she wins it, she drops it, she leaves, she comes back. Like there's been like Becky Lynch has been the last kicker, she's been the man.
But I think
that fashion stage.
I think what's the difference between Charlotte and Becky is that when Charlotte shows up, you know you're getting a 5-star match. So while they're the character development may be about her, the matches are always quality. Becky, there's a little bit more character development. I don't know if the matches are always there. So it's then that's what has them even because listen, there's not many women who could give Rhea Ripley that type of match at WrestleMania. That's a fact. It's a tough match, and she executed it well. But I can tell you, there's not. I don't think on any given day Charlotte can have the mic presence that Becky does. So
yeah, we'll see. You ready to talk about the obvious?
Oh my goodness! Listen, first off, Randy Orton,
welcome back, friend.
You clearly have done nothing but work out every single day for like twice a day, 6 hours a day, and you just get it in because this guy came back and he was swoller than a muscle in a hamster. This guy was like ridiculously swole. I was like, God damn, Randy Orton. But it was so good. As soon as you hear that, I hear voices. Oh, I know what time it is.
But
of course, they finished out the match. Go ahead.
I don't like face Randy Orton. I like heel Randy Orton. I don't like face Orton. I don't like it.
That's corny.
I don't like face Orton. I like heel Orton. Orton is more sinister.
But he's too Randy. Like you're
heel Orton would have RKO'd.
But here's the thing:
last night,
if you would have brought him back as a heel, what happens when he does some fuck shit to someone and like he gets a huge pop. That now
that'll
that's going
fade.
backwards.
That would fade over time as he continued his heel work.
Might as well just bring him out as a face. We've been waiting for him. Let me tell you something. Good match. I knew once Randy came in, it'd be towards the end. They'd be looking to wrap it up. So good finish. I'm glad Cody got the finish. And then right as I was, getting ready to get on up out of there for the night, I heard it. I said, ain't no motherfucker. I said, whoa. And sure enough, that man was back.
Here he come.
Some people call him a promotion killer. Some people call him a backstage piranha. Other people call him CM Punk. And ladies and gentlemen, he's back.
Were you excited? I wasn't excited at all.
No,
I have no desire to see CM Punk.
Here, then let's do it. This is either going to work out as a complete train wreck or this is lit.
How long before the rumors start that he's unhappy? I'm giving it 1 calendar year. We're going to start hearing whispers at WrestleMania. We're going to hear shouts at SummerSlam. And this time next year, boop, get out of here. He fighting someone backstage.
I see it by SummerSlam. I think WrestleMania, he's going to want something done his way that's not going to go his way. He's probably going to want a belt to be dropped off to him by WrestleMania. It's not going to happen. He's going to get a little pissy if it doesn't happen by SummerSlam. I'm with you. I can definitely see it by Survivor Series next year.
I hope he doesn't think he's the one that beats Roman because he is not. There are only 2 people in that company who can take Roman down realistically. And he ain't one of them.
Yo, I'm going to be honest with you. The more Roman Reigns keeps that belt, the more I'm just like, what if we just never take it off of him?
I would be okay, but I'm saying like realistically, the only 2 people that can take the belt off of him is Cody and Solo. That's it.
Oh, and Jey Uso. Don't forget about
me. Jay not there yet. Like Solo beat John Cena. Like Solo got something to hang his hat on. Who is Jay beating?
I mean, listen.
Maybe Seth. Like Seth is next in line after those 2. Like if we're doing tiers,
Seth has to build that World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, and he's not gonna get close to Roman. That's what I'm saying. Like the only 2 who can realistically take those belts off Roman are Cody and Solo. That is it.
What do you think of this new Jimmy Uso that we get? A little bit more.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I
don't like it.
Well, they have to distinguish each individual.
Absolutely, they do.
So
his brother's funny too. No, Jimmy's in the bloodline. Jay is not.
I think they're trying to play a little bit more into their natural instinctive personalities. I think Jimmy is a little bit more of a jokester in general.
Jimmy's still in the bloodline, right? Because sometimes I still get.
But
yes, I love comedy Jimmy. Yes, I got confused with Jay. I love comedy Jimmy. He's hilarious.
Yeah, but like comedy Jimmy, like he don't realize that everyone's just kind of looking at him like, yo, this dude in the bloodline.
This is the one we kept. It's going to be great because Roman going to throw him out. And
then he got to throw him out like Uncle Phil did Jazz in the Fresh Prince.
He is. Exactly he's going to have Solo throw him out. There's going to be Solo and Roman, and then those seeds are going to get sowed, and then Solo take the belt off Roman, and he becomes a tribal chief. That's how that story has to end.
What do you think Jimmy does to really piss off Roman? I don't think it's going to be cause him a championship, but I do think it's going to be cause him a pinfall.
Well, you think, when Roman does show up, Jimmy is always doing something to annoy him. He's saying yeet, and Roman's like, don't say that. Like he's doing something like just every week piss Roman off. I think one week Roman just gonna punch him in the face.
Yo, he was saying yeet. Then Roman gave him the call. He said no yeet.
Like that. I think that's how that ends. And then
we'll see.
Like they fight at some secondary pay-per-view, and then it's gonna be Solo and Roman, and then Solo takes his shot.
We're almost a week out from Thanksgiving. I want to ask you because I was on social media.
Yeah.
I was waiting on plates. You know, I like to be nosy. I like to peep things. There was a drought of plate pictures this year. A lot of people didn't want to post their Thanksgiving meals this year. So I want to ask you, was Michael Irvin right when he said we losing recipes?
Excuse me. I don't think we're losing recipes. I think people are just tired of getting roasted for putting their nasty ass plates on social media.
So you think how many years did it take a lot of people to realize they food might be nasty as hell?
A solid half decade, like a solid half decade, maybe more. Like I'll say this, like I smoke our turkey every year. When I took it off the smoker, I was a little shocked. I was like, "Oh, this might be a rough one," but let me tell you, it was the best turkey I have ever made. I might make one for Christmas.
So this has always been something of interest to me.
Yep.
Well, not of interest, that's intriguing to me. All y'all out here in interracial relationships, what do you do when like the other side of the family legitimately cannot cook, but you know your family really gets down? How
is
do you distinguish between not wanting to not plan stuff at the family spot
Mhm.
because you know the food is bad, but you got to bridge the gaps with your family and hers?
Let me help you out. So, you're in a relationship with someone whose family cannot cook, but yours can, or vice versa. Whoever's family can cook, you go there first and you eat your heart out. And then when you go to the second spot, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're not gonna eat." Like, "Oh, I went overboard at the first spot. I'm kind of full, but I'm gonna take some plates to go home with." And then you throw that shit in the trash.
Okay. So now you're talking as if everyone's family lives together. Let's say you got to go to different spots yearly because families live on different parts of the country.
Oh, you got to suck it up. Pause. Like you got to find the
Ain't no
one.
sucking it up.
You
Pause. Let me
gotta
tell you
find
something.
you gotta find the one thing that you can eat and you eat a lot of it. Like if there's someone who makes good bread, or aunt whoever makes good stuffing, you eat as much of that as possible and you act like you just love it. So much so that next year she's gonna make you your own thing of stuffing just for you because you loved it so much. Now you good. Now you in there. That's how you combat that.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not. I don't want to hear none of that shit you saying. Listen, I let them listen. If your family ain't got at least one dish that's respectable, oh, we just never doing Thanksgiving at Chip Spot no more. Like we just, tell your people we doing just Thanksgiving over here. We just gonna combine families because we just. I'm
Well,
not fucking around.
if you
And you're not
combine
messing up my mac and
families,
cheese. Like, if you at least can't get the mac and cheese down right, what are we doing here?
if you combine families, just know that there's the possibility that someone in the family that can cook might say something real disrespectful to the side that can't cook. Like, and it won't be because you know how we are. Like, oh, who made this green bean casserole? Oh, or it's gonna be everything that they brought still on the counter, and everything that the family can cook gone, and that'll be
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Listen, we call that constructive criticism. What don't kill you make you stronger, baby. You'll get the message. Nobody want that bullshit that you put in the. You go back and ask yourself why you spent all the money on groceries just to go and make some shit, bring it somewhere else, and not a soul touched it. People wasn't even curious. They didn't even think about. They wasn't even entertaining the idea of potentially trying something new. They saw the way your shit looked and said, "Yeah, I'd rather starve. Give this to the homeless." And I think, and I'm glad that a lot of you saw your plates on social media, got roasted the way you did, and then finally realized, yo, my family may not like. I may be eating some bullshit. I'm glad. I hope y'all are out here finding partners and or households that can really throw down. But I'm gonna say this: my grandmama passed along two important recipes to me: baked beans, mac and cheese.
Talk to me.
And she walked me step by step on how she fry her fish.
I have a question. If someone in the chat can answer this, or send us an email or tweet at us. What is up with people taking the turkey and just putting it in the oven? I have never seen so many pink turkeys on tables in my entire life. Like there doesn't seem to be any salt. Like people will take butter and put it under the skin, put a little bit of salt, and then they'll like. I saw so many turkeys that were just pink.
You saw you saw turkeys that was Alexis Texas color.
Yes. Like no pepper, no
There was
poultry
a,
seasoning.
there was a little brandy love colored.
Like here's a little tip for those of you who still roast your turkey in the oven. Get some cheesecloth. Soak that cheesecloth in butter that has been mixed with fresh herbs, salt, pepper, poultry seasoning, garlic powder, and a little bit. Well, this I like to put chili powder or smoked paprika because when I smoke turkeys, it gives that mahogany look. You don't even gotta do that. Take the cheesecloth, put it on top of the chicken once it reaches a golden brown, and it'll help darken it a little bit more. It's very hard to ruin a turkey, and I saw so many turkeys that just looked terrible, pink.
Listen, you giving them all these garlic, herbs, fresh parva. Listen, if you are hearing this and this can be in any way applicable or relatable to you, get up next year, go to Popeyes,
Yes.
and get one of them turkeys.
Let me tell you something.
Because you are doing turkeys everywhere a disservice, and I can tell you they don't pardon them turkeys from Virginia Tech for you to do whatever you're doing to them
Can I
turkeys.
tell you about one of this is the last thing I'll say before we get out of here.
Go ahead.
I think the first year my wife and I lived together, we got we bought our turkey from a local chicken joint, a little chicken wing. That like outside of a couple of turkeys that I have made, best turkey I've ever had in my life. Like them places.
Maybe I need to get back on the smoking turkey. Let me tell you something. This year I fried some chicken, but if I was like at home or back with family, I would have gotten the ham with gravy. Maybe I just need to tell folks.
Ham with is it country ham or is it spiral ham?
Whatever the Thanksgiving ham is.
Well, country ham is really salty. Spiral hams are usually the one with a little bit of glaze on it. It's probably a spiral ham. Keep going.
I don't know. I'm not a meat man like you.
Oh, Jesus, dog. Hey, yo.
Because why you know your meat so well?
Well, and
why you know your meat so well?
South,
you meat man? You missed the meat?
Some
big
bam, you in here. Please tell him the difference between country ham and a spiral ham.
Big meat Danny? Now I come in, you're meat shaming me right now.
Right, we got shaming
me. You don't know your meat. You don't know your cured meat, your spiral meat, your smoked meat, your big meat, your little meat.
Hey, yo.
Meat.
D, where can they find you?
We got all the meats, RB ass niggas.
Where can they find you, D? Hey, yo. That's gonna be my new Twitter handle, Meat Man.
Oh, wait.
Let me see if that's available. Hold on, because I'll do that tonight. That's hilarious.
No, you're not.
It's taken. Damn it. Meat Man is taken.
First off, what freaky ass? Never mind.
Hold on. How about Meter Man?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's taken too. What about?
This has been another episode of Speak On It. Danny, let the people know where to find you.
Well, if I can find an appropriate Meat Man, you can find me on X at Meat Man, but I can't. So for now, you can find me at Danny Ocean 41. I wonder if you could do meat with 2 T's and 2 N's.
Oh, so now you want to double up on your
meat? It's taken. Damn.
You bam. Get your boy. Listen, make sure y'all follow the kid at Los Demix. That's LOSDEEMIX. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Make sure you guys follow me on SoundCloud too. We got DMix episode, DMix Upstairs episode 2 out now exclusively for episode 124 of Speak On It. We out here getting lit, and you know what I'm saying. You know how we rocking. Shout out to the LA Lakers. Hey, we making it to this in-season tournament. Let's do something. Shout out to the Green Bay Packers for doing what y'all got to do. Shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles, man, holding it down. And Danny, I guess shout out to the Mavericks. Y'all are
no, they've been a losing streak, and Luka hurt his thumb. But back to our, you know what is available? Meaty Man with 2 T's and 2 N's.
You should keep Danny Ocean. I'm gonna ask that you keep Danny Ocean because, like, as a man, you gotta have some shame. and I just feel like I wouldn't be a dog if I just sat here and condoned whatever the fuck you about to get. Yeah, I'm gonna shut that shit all the way the fuck down now. I didn't mean to say it so bluntly, but no, we gotta shut that shit down immediately. Some ideas just don't need to take off. Listen, imagine how many things in the world we would have been saved from had somebody just been like, yo, dog, I hear you in this idea, but like this shit's never gonna see the light of day. We just need to shut this shit the fuck down. But like I hear you though. But like, no. Think about it. Imagine how many wars could have been avoided. Yo, let's go press the button and drop 2 nukes on them. Yo, dog, I hear you and all, and like they fucking up over there and we at war with them, but like what we're not gonna do is just drop nukes on like people. So I'm gonna need you to sit with this for a little bit and think about why you was just ready to just condone like genocide the way you was. Because we're gonna revisit this tomorrow because we're just not doing that. Imagine.
Meats Man is available too. Y'all have a good night.
Yo, have mercy on my soul. Please, y'all make sure y'all go speak on it. Make sure y'all follow us on all the socials. Much love to everyone who showed up. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you were here with us. Make sure you speak on it. We out of here.
Peace.